behind exchange rate determination, focusing on how money, interest rates, and exchange rates interact. We'll explore what drives individual and aggregate demand for money, looking at factors like expected returns, risk, and liquidity needs. Understanding these basics sets the foundation for grasping how exchange rates are influenced by monetary factors. Building on that, let's consider what shapes the overall demand for money in an economy. Interest rates play a big role since holding money means forgoing interest from other assets. Higher interest rates make holding money less attractive, reducing demand. Prices and income also matter. When prices or income rise, people need more money for transactions, increasing demand. So, money demand is really about balancing opportunity costs with transactional needs. To put this together, we use a model expressing aggregate money demand as a function of price level, real income, and interest rates. Essentially, real money demand depends on how much income people have and the interest rates they face. This relationship helps us understand how changes in the economy influence how much money people want to hold, which is crucial for analyzing exchange rates later on. Now, looking at the money demand curve, it slopes downward with respect to interest rates. That means, for a fixed income level, people demand more real money balances when interest rates fall, since the opportunity cost of holding money decreases. Conversely, higher interest rates discourage holding money, reducing demand. This inverse relationship is key to understanding money market dynamics. When real income rises, the entire money demand curve shifts upward. This means at every interest rate, people want to hold more money because they have more income to spend. So, economic growth or income increases directly boosts the demand for money, influencing interest rates and, by extension, exchange rates. This shift highlights how income changes ripple through monetary markets. The money market reaches equilibrium when the supply of money equals the demand for money. We can express this in real terms by adjusting for the price level. This equilibrium determines the interest rate in the economy. Understanding this balance is fundamental because shifts in money supply or demand will affect interest rates, which then influence exchange rates and economic activity. When there's too much money in the market, people look to exchange it for interest-bearing assets, pushing interest rates down. On the other hand, if money is scarce, people sell assets to get money, driving interest rates up. This dynamic shows how money supply and demand interact to set interest rates, which are a crucial link to exchange rate movements. The equilibrium interest rate is where real money demand equals real money supply. Changes in money supply or demand shift this balance, altering the interest rate. This rate then influences investment decisions and currency values. So, the money market equilibrium is a central piece in understanding how monetary factors affect exchange rates. If the money supply increases, the equilibrium interest rate falls for a given price level. This happens because more money is available, reducing the need to hold interest-bearing assets. Conversely, a decrease in money supply raises interest rates. These shifts in interest rates due to money supply changes have direct implications for exchange rates and economic conditions. An increase in real income raises money demand, which pushes the equilibrium interest rate higher if the money supply remains constant. This means economic growth can lead to higher interest rates through increased demand for money. These interest rate changes then influence exchange rates, showing how income levels tie into currency values. Monetary policy decisions, like those by the U.S. Federal Reserve, affect money supply and interest rates, which in turn influence exchange rates. Changes in the U.S. money market ripple through to foreign exchange markets, impacting currency values like the dollar and euro. This linkage highlights how domestic monetary actions have international consequences. This linkage can be seen by comparing money supply and demand in different regions, like the U.S. and Europe. Interest rates in each region respond to their own money market conditions, but these rates also influence exchange rates between their currencies. Understanding these interconnected markets is key to grasping how exchange rates are determined. For example, when the European Central Bank expands money supply, euro interest rates fall. This makes euro deposits less attractive, causing the dollar to appreciate against the euro. This example shows how monetary expansions in one region can shift exchange rates by altering relative interest rates and expected returns. A temporary increase in the U.S. money supply lowers dollar interest rates, which initially causes the dollar to depreciate against the euro. Over time, as prices adjust, the exchange rate appreciates to a new level, reflecting the long-run equilibrium. This process illustrates how short-run monetary changes affect exchange rates before prices fully adjust. Generally, when a country increases its money supply, its currency tends to depreciate. Conversely, reducing money supply leads to currency appreciation. Changes in foreign money supply also affect exchange rates. For instance, an increase in the euro money supply depreciates the euro and appreciates the dollar. These relationships show how monetary policy influences currency values globally. When the European money supply increases, euro interest rates fall, leading to a decrease in the expected return on euro deposits. This causes the euro to depreciate against the dollar. The U.S. money market remains unaffected by this change, highlighting how foreign monetary expansions impact exchange rates through interest rate differentials. This reduction in European interest rates lowers the expected return on euro deposits, causing the euro to depreciate. Importantly, this change doesn't alter the U.S. money market equilibrium, showing that foreign monetary policy can influence exchange rates without directly affecting domestic money markets. This distinction is crucial for understanding international monetary interactions. So far, we've focused on short-run analysis where prices are fixed. In the long run, prices and wages adjust to market conditions, and real output depends on productive capacity rather than money supply. Interest rates are determined by savings and investment factors, not just money supply. This distinction between short and long run is vital for understanding monetary effects on exchange rates. In the long run, money supply changes don't affect real output or interest rates, but do lead to proportional changes in price levels. This means inflation rates are directly related to money supply growth minus money demand growth. This relationship helps explain why sustained increases in money supply lead to inflation, which in turn influences exchange rates over time. Looking at data from Latin America, we see a strong positive correlation between money supply growth and inflation rates over several years. This empirical evidence supports the theory that rapid money supply increases led to higher inflation. Understanding this connection is important for analyzing how monetary policy impacts exchange rates and economic stability in developing countries. Let's wrap up by focusing on how changes in the money supply affect prices over the long run. When there's more money circulating, people naturally have more funds to spend, which pushes up the prices of goods and services. This increased demand doesn't just stop there. It spills over into the labor market, where producers need more workers or ask current employees to work harder, driving wages up. As wages rise, production costs increase, and those higher costs eventually feed back into even higher prices for output. So, what we see is a cycle where money supply growth leads to higher prices through both demand and cost channels, shaping the economy's price level over time. This connection between money and prices is crucial for understanding exchange rate dynamics and inflation in the long run.